Welcome to Esoteric Wisdom, where we delve into the deeper truths of self-awareness and spiritual growth. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest barriers to personal development, the ego. It's often thought of as the bad guy in our journey to growth, but in reality, it's more like a tricky obstacle that we need to understand before we can overcome it. The ego is more than just arrogance or self-importance. It's that voice inside our heads that's always seeking validation, always trying to protect our image and at times preventing us from becoming the person we truly want to be. In this video, we'll explore how the ego works, why it's such a powerful force, and most importantly, how we can manage it to unlock our true potential. The ego isn't inherently bad, it's a natural part of who we are. It develops as we grow, shaping our sense of identity, and it helps us navigate the world. But here's the problem. When left unchecked, the ego can distort our reality. It can make us defensive, competitive, and constantly hungry for approval. Think of the ego as a filter through which we view the world. If that filter is clouded by insecurity or fear, it will distort everything from how we view ourselves to how we treat others. Picture this. You're in a meeting and someone critiques your work. Your ego's immediate response? Defensiveness. It whispers, "They don't appreciate you," or "They're attacking you." In reality, it's just feedback, but through the ego's lens, it becomes an assault on your self-worth. This is the ego's trick. It tries to protect you, but often at the cost of growth and learning. And it's not just in negative moments. The ego can also make us chase external validation, whether it's craving likes on social media or needing praise from coworkers. The more we feed it, the more it controls us. But recognizing this pattern is the first step toward freedom. Once we understand how the ego works, we can start dismantling it piece by piece, opening the door to more genuine relationships and personal growth. Personal growth often feels like a battle. Not a battle against the world, but a battle within ourselves. You versus you. It's the side of you that wants to evolve versus the side of you that resists change, clings to old patterns, and operates out of fear. This battle is fueled by the ego. Imagine wanting to start a new project or make a bold life change. Your inner self is excited, eager, ready to grow. But then your ego steps in. It tells you, you're not ready. You'll fail. People will judge you. It's at this moment we face the ultimate battle. Do we push forward, or do we stay in our comfort zone? One real-life example is Eckhart Tolle, the renowned spiritual teacher and author of The Power of Now. Early in his life, Tolle battled with depression and a deep sense of hopelessness. His ego created a constant internal dialogue of suffering, telling him life is unbearable. One night, he reached a breaking point, and in that moment, he experienced a profound shift in consciousness. Many of us face similar moments daily, whether it's at work, in relationships, or in personal endeavors. The battle within is real, but once you become aware of it, you can start winning. You can challenge the ego and create a life that's aligned with your true self, not your fears. One of the most powerful tools is mindfulness. When we practice mindfulness, we become aware of our thoughts, feelings, and reactions. This awareness gives us the space to question the ego's narrative. For example, when someone offers feedback and your first reaction is defensiveness, you can pause and ask yourself, is this my ego talking? What can I learn from this instead? Daily meditation is a great place to start. Even just 5 minutes a day of sitting quietly, observing your thoughts without judgment, can be incredibly transformative. You'll start to notice how often the ego interrupts your day-to-day life. It wants to control every conversation, every decision, every response. But with mindfulness, you take back that control. Another strategy is embracing vulnerability. We often associate vulnerability with weakness, but it's actually one of the greatest strengths we have. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, whether by admitting a mistake, asking for help, or sharing our fears, we weaken the ego's grip. Vulnerability allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, without the mask of ego. Lastly, practice gratitude and humility. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you already have. It helps you realize that you don't need to chase validation from external sources because everything you need is already within you. Humility, on the other hand, reminds us that we are all on a journey, that no one is superior or inferior to another. This mindset is crucial for keeping the ego in check. Overcoming the ego is a lifelong journey, and many spiritual teachers have dedicated their lives to mastering this process, transforming not only themselves but the world around them. Take, for instance, Ram Dass, a prominent spiritual teacher whose journey began with the shedding of his academic identity as a Harvard professor. Through his deep exploration of spirituality, Ram Dass realized that the ego was a barrier to true connection and enlightenment. His teachings on being here now emphasized living beyond the confines of the ego, embracing love and compassion as pathways to higher consciousness. Similarly, Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now, found freedom from his suffering by transcending his ego. Tolle describes a pivotal moment when, after years of battling depression, he had an awakening that revealed the illusion of the ego and its constant chatter. His teachings now guide millions towards spiritual awakening by recognizing the ego's role in creating unnecessary fear and disconnection from the present moment. Another profound example is Thich Nhat Hanh, a Vietnamese Buddhist monk who embodied humility and mindfulness in his teachings on peace and interconnectedness. He consistently taught that letting go of the ego was essential to understanding our oneness with all beings. His message was clear. Only by relinquishing ego can we find true inner peace and create harmony in the world. These spiritual teachers remind us that overcoming the ego is not merely an act of personal growth. It is a gateway to living with greater awareness, compassion, and purpose. By releasing the grip of ego, we make room for deeper spiritual connection, authentic relationships, and a life filled with meaning. In this video, we've explored the powerful role ego plays in our lives, both as a barrier and as an opportunity for growth. The ego can block us from reaching our full potential, but by practicing mindfulness, embracing vulnerability, and cultivating humility, we can dismantle its influence. The battle within, you versus you, may never fully end, but each time you challenge the ego, you move one step closer to the person you truly want to be. Personal growth isn't about being perfect. It's about being real, authentic, and open to transformation. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect. Where in your life has your ego held you back? And how can you begin to change that today? If you found value in today's discussion, please subscribe to Esoteric Wisdom for more deep dives into personal development and spiritual growth. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with someone who might benefit from it. Together, we can continue to challenge the ego and discover the beauty of true growth.